So we are doing option number 23, paper 4 to question number 3. This is an extremely simple question, very straightforward. We just have to write object-oriented programming code for this and get a method, cite a method, etc. So let's begin. So the game has multiple characters. A class character stores data about the game characters, and then each character has a name, date, etc. Okay, let's skip to the part A1. Write program code to declare the class character and its constructor. No other methods. We have to use Python. If we're doing Python, then we have to do attribute declarations using buckets. Okay, so we just have to write the constructor and the class right now. So the class name is character. So we'll write that. This will be class character. And then we have 4 attributes here. We have character name, we have the word, intelligent, etc. So we'll define them. And the question does not ask us to make them private. Okay, nowhere it says to make them private, so we don't really have to do that. So self, so define. First we have the constructor, we have self, and then we have the name, then we have the DOI, then we have intelligence, and then we have speed. And please make sure that you do not name is int. Okay, int is the Python keyword, so this would be an issue. Okay, then we have to assign them into attributes. So self dot character name, the case sensitivity must be used, is equal to nm. Then this would be date of birth, like this. Then we have self dot intelligence, which is equal to intl. And finally we have self dot speed, which is equal to spt, like this. And then we have to write their declarations. So using tab spaces. So we have string, and let's copy this. Then we have date. Then we have real, that would be float in Python. And then we have an integer here. You don't have to align them. I'm just doing it for clarity purposes. Okay, simple enough. Then we move on to the next part. The next part says that you have to write the getter methods and return the values. So write the getter methods. Okay, simple. So we write define get G capital, get name, get date of birth, and get intelligence, and we return these. Okay, so it's always a good idea to write getter methods for all the attributes, even if the question doesn't say so, because eventually we might need to use the one of these getter methods. So you won't lose marks if you write an extra getter method. So we have get speed, and then we return the speed. All right, then we move on to the next part. Okay, in the next part, they're saying write the method for set intelligence that will assign the value of its parameter to the attribute. So a simple setter method, and we'll write it here. So define, we have set intelligence, and again there would be a self parameter, and then there would be another attribute. Let's call it new intelligence or something, and then we set our self.intelligence to new intelligence. Then they're saying you have to create a method learn that will increase the amount of current intelligence by 10%. Okay, so whatever the existing value is, we simply multiply it by 0.1 and we add 1 to it, or we can just multiply 1.1 into it. It would do the same thing. So define self learn, and we say self dot intelligence plus equal to 1.1. This serves the same purpose of the increment and percentage increase by 10%, or if you don't want to do this, you can just say self intelligence equal to self intelligence multiplied by 0.1, and then you add self dot intelligence into it. But this is a lengthier method, So a mathematical way is just to increment this value by 1.1 and it will do the same thing. Not multiply, product by 1.1 like this. Okay, so moving on to the next part, it says return age calculates and returns the age of the character in years as an integer. Okay, and then assume the current year is 2023 and only use the year from date of birth for calculation. For example, the method returns 18 if the character was born on any date in 2005. Okay, so now we have a data type. So in Python, we can extract the year out of it by using .year function. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and use that. So we have define return age, and then we write return. So the starting year is 2023, and we have to subtract the current date of birth here. Okay, so date of birth is stored here. So 2023 minus self dot date of birth, and this will give you the whole date. But if you write dot and if you get year out of it, so it will get you the year. That means if somebody is born in, let's say, 2000, so it will get you the date out and it will return 23 like this. Okay, then in the next part, they're saying write the code to create a new instance of character with the identifier first character. The name of the character is this. So we have to just create this character. So that means we'll be going into our main function now. Okay, so we'll go outside of the class and we'll go into the main function, main, and let's hide the whole code because we don't need this right now. Okay, and we'll write first character is the name of the identifier. So first character, we'll use it as it is equal to. So they're saying create a new instance. So character. Okay, now what was the order of the parameters? It is name, DOB, intelligence, and speed. So the name is going to be Royal in this case. Then we have date of birth is 1 Jan 2009. Okay, so for this, we'll have to use the Python library, which is used for date and time. So we have to import date time like this. It's already given in the library. So date time dot date time. This is the function that is built in. So this is the library. This is the function here. And we have to create the date here. So this will be year, comma, month, comma, day. And it's already labeled for you as well. Okay. So look at this. It says your month and day. So this is how we'll create the date. Or you can do it separately as well. You don't need to do it here. So we can just create it here. We'll call it, let's say, DOB is equal to datetime dot datetime. Again, this is a library name. This is the name of the function. Let's just like we use random dot random. So random is the name of the library, random is the function. We're doing the same thing and we pass in the year, the month, and day, and pass in the date here. So this becomes the DOB. Then the next thing is intelligence, which is 70, and the next thing is speed, which is going to be 30. And that's it. Okay, so simple enough. Then it's saying write program code to call the method learn for the character created in 3b and 1. Okay, so we have to call the method learn that we just created. So we'll say first character dot learn like this. Output the name, age, intelligence in an appropriate message. Okay, now what will the learn character do? Let's see. So learn will just increase the intelligence by 10%. So it won't do anything. Okay, so once this is done, okay, so we have to call the function learn. Again, what will learn do? If we go back here, so it will automatically increase the intelligence by 10%. Okay, so it will not be printing anything. So we have to print everything on our own. And we also don't need to assign it into a variable because it's just updating an intelligence, the value of the intelligence. Okay, so we'll create a format string and we can say, so what are these attributes? These are the attributes of a person. Okay, so the intelligence, their date of birth, and their name. So we can say, let's get the attributes of, let's get their name. So name is equal to first character dot get name. Then let's get their, we have their age as well. So age is equal to first character. Let's copy this part dot return age. Then we need to get their intelligence. So we can use intelligence is equal to first character dot get intelligence. And then we also need the speed. So speed is equal to first character dot get speed, like this. Okay, so now we can just write it simply in one line. So we'll say format string, the name of this person. This name is this many years old. And we'll say the person is this year old and has intelligence level of, okay, so you can be creative with this, you don't need to be very specific, and intelligence level this, and that's it, I think. Okay, so then okay, this code is complete then.
Why do we do return agent?
Moving on to the next part, we have done part B2, then it's asking that you need to test the program and take a screenshot of the output. Okay, so let's test it. Okay, so this is the output when we run the code. It says Royal is 4 years old and has an intelligence level of 77.0. So this would be the correct answer. Everything is fine up to this point. Okay, then there's another class called magic character which inherits from the class character. Okay, so we'll be doing inheritance now. Okay, very simple. So we create another class and then we make it inherit our current class. So we'll write class of magic character, and in this we'll pass a character which is the parent class. So this would mean that it means that magic character is inheriting from character class. We don't need to comment this, I'm just writing it for any case. Okay, so a magic character has an example element, for example water. This element changes how they learn. The magic character element is stored in the additional attribute element. Okay, and then element stores this. Okay, they're saying write code to declare the class and its constructor. Okay, in the constructor they're saying we will take element, character name, date of birth, intelligence, and speed as parameters and call the parent constructor with the appropriate values and initialize element to its the value. Okay, so whenever we have the parent class here, and we can just use any function from the parent class by using the keyword of super. Super means this is the super class, the parent class, and this is the simply the child class or the subclass. So we just need to use the right syntax here. The only new attribute would be element. Everything else, students or the people in this in these classes already have that. Okay, so we'll write define init dash dash. Then we have self, and we need to get the same attributes here. So the only new thing is element. Okay, in the same order. So let's call it element, and then we have the name, and then we have the date of birth. We have intelligence and the speed. Now, these are the same as the parent parameters. So what I'll do is, in the first line, I will make a call to the superclass. So this is going to be the exact function, super dot. Okay, which function are we calling? We are calling the constructor. So dash dash init dash dash, and then we have the, okay, so what is happening in the parent constructor? So we can in fact just copy this, okay, this line, because we are using the same attribute names. So I'll just copy and paste it here, and that's it. So what will happen now is all these attributes will get copied into the constructor, which is already written in the parent class. So they will get initialized here, and then we will come back into this line. So this is done. Okay. Then in the next part, they're saying, okay, so then in the next part, they're saying that you have to set the element value to the appropriate one. Okay, so that is pretty simple. So self dot element and is equal to element. like this. And then we have to write the attribute declaration as well. So that in our case would be string str. And with this, the constructor is done for magic character. Okay, then they're saying you have to write the method learn, which will override the parent class and increase the percentage depending on the character element. Okay, so overriding means that we will be redefining the function with the same name and the same number of parameters, right? So overriding is the idea that same function name and parameters inside child class, so that the function when triggered would actually not run from the parent class, but instead it would run from the child class. So that is the idea. So getting rid of this. Okay, now what do we do? Again, very simple. We simply have to write the function for learn again. So we don't do anything special. We just write define learn in self. Okay, it will override automatically because the learn in the parent class, this one, has the same name and the same parameters, only self. And same will happen here. Okay, so what will we do is we have to increase the intelligence depending on the character's element. If the element is fire or water, intelligence by 20%, 30%, or 10%. Okay, so just simple if conditions. Let's get the value of element. Let's call it element is equal to self dot element, so we don't have to write it again and again. Okay, so if element is equal to fire, we're saying if the element is equal to fire or water, intelligence increase by this. So if our element is equal to fire or element is equal to water, like this, so intelligence must increase by 20%. So 20% is simply 1.2. So we'll write, okay, now where is the set intelligence function? So it's not written in the child class, right? It was clearly written in the parent class. So we just have to make a call to the super class. So we'll say super dot. Now we make a call to the set intelligence function like this. And in this we pass in. Okay, now there is still one issue here. What is the current intelligence of the student? Right? We don't know that. And in order to get that, we have to make a call to the get intelligence from the parent class. Right? So this is very important to remember. Again, we are trying to set the intelligence, but for that, we also need to get the current intelligence of the student, because when we set in the new intelligence, when we set in the uh, learn function, so it requires the intelligence value, the current value as well, but we don't have the current value. The current value is stored in the parent class here. So we'll make a call, super call to that as well. So let's do that first. Intelligence is equal to super dot get intelligence like this. So now it will bring you the current intelligence. So what are we going to do here? So we have to increase it by 20%. Set intelligence. So set intelligence, we are setting it to the new intelligence. Okay, so what do we do here? We simply multiply the current intelligence by 1.2, because that is a percentage increase of 20. 30 would be 1.3 and 10 would be 1.1. Simple. Then they're saying if the element is earth, intelligence increased by 30. Okay, so elif element is equal to earth, then the intelligence will increase by 30%. So I'll just copy this time and that's it. So I'll make it change by 1.3 like this. And then else, if the element is not fire, water, or earth, then we're going to change it by 10%, which is simply 1.1%. And with this, the whole thing is done. Then they're saying write the program code to create a new instance of magic character with the identifier first magic. Okay, so we have to go into the main part now, and we have to create magic character. Now we have to write code to create a new instance of magic character with the identifier first magic. Okay, it will be first magic is equal to magic character. Okay, now what will magic character do? It will have the name of the character light and the date of birth, intelligence, speed, and element. Okay, so now they have not given you the data in order. Okay, this is very important. So you don't have to go by the order of the question, you have to go by the order of the constructor. So the constructor is set in this way, element, and then, so I'll just copy it from here and write it below so I remember what was the format. So the first thing would be element. So the element they've written is fire, like this. Then the next thing is the name. So the name is given as character is light. Then we have date of birth is set to 3 March 2018. So we will write date time dot date time, and then we have to write in the date, which is the year is 2018. And then we have the month as 3, and the day is also 3. Then the intelligence is given as 75, and then the speed is given as 22. That's it. So this will create the first magic. And then they're saying call the method learn on the character and output there. So we call the method learn like this. And then we have to output the appropriate values. So for that, we will again use this stuff. So they're saying output the name, age, and intelligence in the appropriate message. So name, age, and intelligence like this. Or we can just do it directly as well. Okay, let's repeat the same thing as we did. So instead of first character here, now we'll have first magic. Now what will happen is, if we go into the child class now, we don't have any function called get name, return age, or get intelligence, right? There's no get name here. Don't see any get name, return age here. So what it will do is it will automatically go to the parent class and then look for get name and get speed and etc. Once it finds it from there, so it will bring it back. This is the main advantage of inheritance. We're not rewriting any of the code, because if the function does not exist in the child class, it would automatically be checked in the parent class. First magic for all these functions. So we have to get the name, age, and intelligence out, and let's just bring back this same old format string, and we can print the name is this and intelligence is this. Okay, so if we run this, so we have this extra self here. I just remove that from line 46, and we run this, and it says Light is 5 years old and has intelligence level of 90 points. And with this, the whole question is done.